Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chardonnay, and today I'm going to be sharing my must-have items inside of my home office and craft room. These are items that I have used for at least 3 months to a year. I like to make sure that I personally have experience using these tools or anything before I share it with you all here on my channel. So these are some things that I have personally used within my process, and I'm going to share with you all today, so that way you can possibly make your space a little bit more tidy, organized, and just a space where you feel excited to just come in and continue to create. So the first thing that I have on my list, I have my cell phone here, so that way I will stay on track and not ramble and get carried away, because believe it or not, there are a few different things that you will be surprised that I have inside of my home office and my craft space that just makes my life so much more easier. And I am a convenience girly. Anything that, makes the task 10 times easier than it has to be, sign me up. Okay, that is my definition of a soft life, is anything that makes my process a little bit more convenient. It makes it a little bit more organized and easy to access. That is what I am all about. So I have a list here on my phone, and I'm going to go over some of the items that I have used throughout my space that have just made crafting as well as my workflow a lot more easier. So the first thing that I have listed here is pegboards. You will see I have a pegboard behind me, and I've already shared in a earlier video when I initially started putting together my space. I also have a pegboard specifically for my camera gear and equipment, and I like to call it my charging station. But I have 2 pegboards inside of my home office and my craft room, and this allows me to easily identify what items I have to work with. It allows me to easily access the items when I'm ready to use them. I mentioned in another organization video that I'm someone who if I can avoid having drawers and bins inside of my space, I will just do without it, because bins and drawers, they don't have a lot of structure. And so what tends to happen is you will just throw a bunch of items in there, forget what you have thrown in there, especially if you don't label them, and then before you know it, those bins and drawers are just all out of hand. And so I personally like to have everything that I'm using on display for my sewing and craft supplies, as well as for my videography gear, tools, and gadgets and things of that nature. So whether I'm sewing, creating content, or working on video projects for clients, I have everything in a place where it needs to be. It's conveniently located. I can literally just grab and go, or grab and get to work. So let's first talk about this pegboard that I have behind me. I actually picked up this pegboard from a local hardware store. When I was first deciding on what pegboard I wanted to go with over here, I was a little bit hesitant about drilling into the wall, because I rent where I currently live, and I didn't want to have to go through the headache of patching up holes or anything. So I got a heavy duty piece of metal, so that way this pegboard can hang up on the wall, and it was working really well for a long time. But as I just kind of collected more things as I got further along my sewing journey, I was like, maybe I should anchor this to the wall, because I didn't want to have to worry about this falling off the wall and having beads and buttons all over the floor. Ain't nobody got time to be picking all that stuff up off the floor. So I went ahead and anchored this on the wall. But if you are someone who is looking for a renter-friendly option, you can also go and purchase a very thick, heavy-duty piece of metal, and you can attach a pegboard up onto the wall if you are not into drilling holes and mounting pegboards onto the wall. So this is my first pegboard. I really love the convenience of just having all of my sewing thread, bobbins, scissors, buttons, trim, lace, all the gear and gadgets that I might need, notions, any of that I am typically using throughout my sewing projects. It's all up there on that pegboard, except for my sewing patterns. I do have those stored away in drawers, and I'll get to that in a minute. Now, as it goes for my other pegboard for my charging station and my camera supplies, I went ahead and purchased a pegboard from Etsy, and out of both of the pegboards that I have, I really love the one that I purchased from Etsy the most, mainly because a lot of the things inside of my home office, it has wood and black texture. That's kind of the color scheme that I have throughout my space and throughout my home. I like to think of the items that I bring into my home as like a collection and build up of items that I hope to have inside of my dream home. So I kind of stuck with this whole concept of getting things that is black and wood texture. And so with that particular pegboard, I do have it anchored on the wall because I do have cameras mounted on that pegboard. I also have my iPad on that pegboard, and I also live in a state where it is more prone to having earthquakes. I haven't experienced an earthquake since I've been here. Knock on wood that I don't experience one where it's to the point that, you know, I have to be concerned about things falling off the wall. But I really like this pegboard, mainly because I'm a DIY girly. I love the customization effect. And also I went ahead and added my own kind of stickers and decals onto that pegboard. I have a cute little phrase up on that pegboard, and it says gadget girly, because if you know me, you know I am a true gadget girl. I always have some type of gear and gadget, whether it's like a new camera or a new label maker or portable printer. I always have something. That's just kind of how I've always been. So I put a cute little sticker decal up on that pegboard that says gadget girly, and it houses all of my things. So now let's get into some accessories that I have on these pegboards, and everything that I'm mentioning, I'll have links to the items in the description box below. There are a few items that I earn a little bit of commission off of, just a heads up, but not all of the items that I have listed do I have commission or anything like that, or affiliate links. But again, the ones that I am sharing, I do have experience with using them for at least 3 months to a year. So let's talk about the accessories on the wooden and black pegboard. The main accessories that I have on that pegboard are what's the official name for it? It's a battery holder. So I have a battery holder for AA batteries as well as AAA batteries. And if you are a crafter or just somebody in general, you know how it's just nice to have batteries on hand. I don't like throwing batteries in a drawer because sometimes I get confused whether this is a new battery, a used battery. The packaging just kind of takes up space, and so I thought it was convenient to just get this battery holder that I found over on Etsy. I can easily take a quick glance over at that pegboard and see if the batteries are running low or not, and it's just a great place to just kind of mount my batteries, and a great place for if I have visitors over and they're like, oh, I need batteries, I just send them inside of my office and they know exactly where the batteries are. The next thing I have on my pegboard is an iPad holder. There's a magnet on the back of my iPad, again for safety, so if it happens to fall off the wall, the magnet is that extra little oomph to make sure that the iPad is secure on that pegboard. And I also have additional hooks that just kind of hold that iPad in place. Something else that I have inside of my home office is a tea warmer. If you are a coffee or a tea drinker and you are someone who's always in your office or your craft room, you know how it is to just have your little mug of tea and you're sipping on it. Nobody wants to drink cold tea, so it's one of those random items that I have inside of my space where it's like, oh, you don't think that you need it, but it's definitely worth the purchase. So I have a tea warmer inside of my space, and that is one of the tools that I really enjoy. Something else that I have inside of my space is an automatic vacuum. Now, listen, it's nothing like hitting refresh and reset, especially after you get through with a sewing project. You know how you have those little scraps and threads and random whatever all on the floor. I just boop, hit that little button, turn my AI powered automatic vacuum on, and it just goes to town, and I just feel reset, refreshed, and ready to start a new project. So I love that I have my little gadget of my automatic vacuum inside of my home office and my craft room to just kind of reset and refresh the space, so that way I can come into my space and feel ready to get started on the next project. Something else that I have inside of my space, and I haven't decided if I want to put it on my Etsy shop or not, but I made these cute little bookmarks so that way I can sort and go through my patterns, and this helps me keep my patterns organized. Now, I did go ahead and laminate these. I know that most of you folks who watch my channel, you all are crafters, you sew or whatever, so I've been debating if I want to make this a PDF that's available to purchase so that way you can laminate it on your own, or if I should make these kind of custom bookmarks to sell. If there's enough interest, then I will make this as an item that's available up on Etsy. Let me know in the comment section below if this is something you all will be interested in. But I have found this to be a convenient way to just organize and sort through the patterns that I have. I've seen people do the binder method and refresh their envelopes and use different envelopes. I'm a convenience girly. Love that for you. It's just not a good fit for me, and I have just instead decided to store all of my patterns inside of drawers and to separate them into categories based off of cold weather, warm weather, summer outfits, winter outfits, based on the seasons and things of that nature. I've just kind of been testing this out, but for the most part this has been working for me, and I love that. So yeah, these are just a few tips, tools, and techniques and things that I like to use to keep my space organized and clutter free. Let me know if you found any of the items I shared of value to you, or if you're interested in purchasing any of these bookmarks that I've made to organize my sewing patterns. Let me know and I'll get to working on that. But that's all I have to share with you all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Bye.